we're gonna go from this to regular clay, like this bag of clay, okay? So when you have things that have dried out or you have scraps that need reclaimed, you want them either in small pieces or something like this that's a little bit thinner. You don't want large chunks. So if you have, like, this piece is not ideal. And the reasoning for that is because the large chunks won't absorb water as evenly. So you start off with something like this. You want it bone dry, so there's no water in it, no water at all. And what happens is you are gonna take one of these, or you're gonna take small pieces of bone dry reclaim, and you're gonna stick it in water, and you wanna completely cover it with water. So if you see, this is like this because it was in water. The water immediately absorbs into your piece of clay. The clay just absorbs the water, it sucks it in and becomes wet and just becomes mush again. So usually it takes like an hour or two to fully have the process happen. But let me see if we can see. This one's been in here for maybe 5 minutes. So you can see it's already starting to go. You can break it apart too. Sometimes it goes faster, but you can at least fit more into your water. So you can break it up if you want. You can leave it in a whole piece. But you'll start hearing like chirping sounds almost as the water seeps into all the air bubbles that are in things. And so slowly but surely those will just go down. Like you'll see like this might break up or you might hear a splash, and that's these pieces just disintegrating and falling into the water, absorbing that water, and it's gonna become a mush. There's a little bit down there. So like it's gonna become more mush-like, okay? This stuff isn't very good yet, but it will be. Once it's completely disintegrated, you have no more pieces in here. We're gonna pour all the water out and put it on the piece of plaster, and I will show you that in just a moment, okay? Cups like this that went in there have disintegrated. So they now look like this, okay? It's just mud, it's muck. And so what you're gonna do is just sitting on top, okay? So you're just gonna take your bucket, find another. There might be a little clay that's gotten in there, and there might be a tiny bit of water left, but that's what it looks like. Woo, it poured some out. You can literally just pour this onto this wedging table, okay? And then I'm gonna make sure it's a nice and even surface, so there's not a part that's like by itself, because that's gonna dry out faster than all the rest. And then you can go back through with your fingers and kind of make little marks in here. Oh, it's not quite firm enough to do that. But you can come back and do that later too. So the marks help it so that you've got more areas for air to circulate and dry it out just a little bit faster, okay? Depending on it where it is. After that time, we're gonna come in and it should be able just to pull up off the clay. You shouldn't have to scrape it. When you scrape plaster, it can get into the clay, it can make marks so that it damages the plaster. So we're gonna try our hardest not to use tools. If we do, we're gonna use a wooden tool to flip it over because the top's gonna be more wet than the bottom because this plaster sucks moisture out, okay? Then we're gonna rinse out the buckets like normal, make sure we have clean surfaces and everything to work with. All right, so got it up, and so now wedge it. There you go. Usable clay, ready to make. Then it just goes in my bag. Other thing.